Are we ready again? Are we? Okay. Okay. So I can talk now, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Junie, and I'm back here in the studio of Monica the Creative Beast to finish my book report for what I did this summer. She helped me with my book report so that I would have some really cool books, and she made this special little case, like a little suitcase for them, because this is what I'm calling unpacking my summer travels for traveling this summer with my parents. And I already shared my travels to the sea, and now I have a few more new t-shirts for places that we went to for the mountains. So we went to some different places in the hills and the mountains. And first we stayed in the Los Angeles area, and I have this Dodgers t-shirt because we went to the Dodger Stadium, which is in the hills of Los Angeles. And then when we went up north, we went to Santa Cruz. So I saw some really interesting things and learned some interesting things about the mountains and California. So let me start with my book report, and it's another accordion book. I love these. Thank you, Monica, the Creative Beast, for helping me make these. Okay, so this is what I learned about the mountains in Los Angeles and Dodger Stadium. So this is about the hills of Dodger Stadium. My family and I began exploring the mountain areas of California for our summer travels. Before we left the LA area, my dad wanted to see Dodger Stadium, located in the hills north of downtown Los Angeles. Dodger Stadium now sits on what used to be a neighborhood called Chavez Ravine, with a Mexican-American community that has provided its own schools, food, and stores since 19,000. But in 1935, Chavez Ravine was labeled a hazardous zone and assumed to be a vacant shanty town. So it was targeted for redevelopment. In 1949, federal funds were granted for city public housing for 10,000 new homes to be built, and 4,000 of them were planned for Chavez Ravine under the name of the Elysian Park Heights Housing Project. In summer of 1950, the homeowners of Chavez Ravine were told they would need to sell their homes to make way for the housing project. Some owners sold right away while others chose to stay on. Many sellers got less than what their homes were worth. The city eventually used eminent domain to clear the area for the public housing project, since it was meant to be for the greater good, until some politicians started to say public housing was a communist strategy to take over the city. In 1958, Dodger owner Walter Francis O'Malley bought the land from the city for less than they paid for it to make the public housing, just like the homeowners who sold their homes for less than they were worth. In 1959, the few homeowners still living in Chavez Ravine were forcibly removed as squatters, and no signs of the churches, schools, or homes remained when the stadium officially opened in 1962. My dad said the president is trying to use eminent domain to build a border wall along the Mexican border. I think this eminent domain thing has been used to move or relocate people that deserve to stay where they have lived for generations. It doesn't seem very fair to me. So that's what I learned about the hills where Dodger Stadium is today. So now I'm going to share my book report of what I learned in Santa Cruz. Okay, Santa Cruz is up north. My mom wanted to visit a place called the Presentation Center. She remembered it being a lovely, quiet refuge in the mountains of Santa Cruz though it was on a site with an old church mission where the local indigenous people were used for labor while being converted to Christianity and assimilated into American ways of living. The sisters of the presentation owned it from 1956, and they turned it into a retreat and conference center. My mom remembered some old photos of the old mission, the indigenous people and children who lived there, and a few artifacts of the local tribes on display. It turns out that the presentation center used to be the Montezuma Mountain School for Boys before the sisters bought it. It operated as a private school from first grade to high school between the years 1910 to 1955. Ernest Rogers, an education pioneer, ran the school. He was passionate about the Junior Statesmen of America, a national student government organization he founded in 1934. Many wealthy people sent their boys to the school, and some of them went on to work in politics, like Fred Dutton, one of President Kennedy's advisors. When we tried to visit the presentation center, it had recently been sold to Little Tree Montessori schools, so it wasn't open to the public as it used to be. It seems the presentation center had been losing money, so the church behind the Sisters of the Presentation decided to close it and sell it. My mom hopes the new school will honor the history of the site and its treatment of the local natives of the area and not become another institution of privileged education. But considering the wealth of the people who live in the mountain area, she figures it will just be more of the same, with both exclusive education and erasing the history of indigenous peoples. That's what I learned in Santa Cruz. So we didn't visit too many mountain places. We just went to Dodger Stadium, and we tried to go to the presentation center, but it's not open anymore. It's not open anymore. So these are all my book reports of my travels this summer to the sea and to the mountains. So thank you to Monica, the creative beast, for helping me with my book report and making these awesome little books and this really cool suitcase to help me unpack my summer travels. This was a lot of fun to make, and I had a great time learning from Monica. So thank you for letting me share my book report with you. I hope you learned some things like I did. And thanks again to Monica, and thank you to everybody who was listening to my book report. And maybe I'll be back again sometime. Okay, thanks. Bye.